Russell Walker meets on Glasgow Chamber of Commerce TV. What does a wealth management company do when a major recession is beginning and is definitely going to get worse? It's not business as usual. So how does the industry learn, adapt, and grow stronger? What do they tell their clients? And how do they ensure staff keep their heads up? I'm hoping to find out the answers to those questions and more from Adrian Murphy of Murphy Wealth Management, which is based in Glasgow. And Adrian, I guess the first question to ask is, how is the working from home going?
Bizarrely, I love it. I'm a very sociable kind of chap, but also it would appear easily distracted. As I've mentioned a couple of times, my report cards at school it turns out they were true. So being at home, I'm just so much more productive. We're lucky we've got space, and it's not been a particular hardship to do. But I've got so much more done in terms of both thinking and just being, just more efficient. You're in the office, there's phone calls, there's everybody wants to talk to you, so you're constantly interrupted. And that old thing about it takes, was it 17 minutes or something to recover from every interruption. It's true. It's a nightmare. So I really enjoy it. I spent my wife and the wee dog, and it's just nice. So the situation aside, of course.
I have to say I've done a few of these now, and that room that you're in is the most magnificent backdrop I've yet seen. Very ornate.
It looks a bit like a museum from your angle, I'm sure.
Thanks for joining us from the National Gallery anyway this morning.
Yeah, that's right.
So, more serious matters. What have you had to do during this pandemic? Have you had to furlough staff? What have you done?
Yeah, I think it was the end of February we made the decision to move to remote working at the very outset. There was never any question of that. We enacted our kind of disaster recovery plan and adapted fantastically well as a result of that. So we had a number of reasonably new graduates that come into the business who are just at the start of that journey. So we said, look, I think there's four of them who we furloughed because we have other people in the team who've been through that path, are much more senior, but can do both sides of the job, can do their job as what we would call client managers, but also some of the administrative stuff. So that gave us a wee bit of leeway there. We just very quickly started arranging these calls with our clients. Obviously, nobody's going to come into the office. We've been able to move some of the team who are qualified financial planners, essentially, but they're still sitting in that role as client managers, to start running the calls with the clients themselves as well. Because of the technology and because of the situation, it's been an interesting, so not an experiment, because they already have client relationships, but it's allowed us to accelerate their development. So that's been a real positive. We did a lot of keeping in touch stuff with the team. We still do. Initially, we were doing a lot of it, and it was actually becoming quite cumbersome. Spending too much time almost together, and breaking up the day just far too much. So we reduced that right back. But we've done a couple of, every Friday we have a wee bit of fun, a quiz or something like that. Last Friday, we sent everybody a nice wee box with some gin in it and some Prosecco, and we had a kind of extended, it was the end of the month, it was sunny, so we had a kind of extended quiz and kind of fun time. Everybody had a wee drink. It was very nice, very fun, very sociable. So just trying to do everything we can to make it as connected as possible, because it can't get away from the fact it's a difficult situation, and everybody's home life is different as well. So you have to recognise that. You have to make sure everybody's okay. The other side of that is we were really keen that we were even more outward facing as well in terms of our communications with the clients. We really stepped that up with weekly communications and running webinars and all these types of things to keep our clients connected as well.
So it sounds as if business hasn't been hit too badly in that aspect, certainly the wealth management side of things.
The business is okay. We're we're reasonably strong. The growth, we're on a growth path. We've got some fairly big ambitions. We think, and I hope I'm right in this, that the digitization of our profession is probably going to be moved on about at least 2 years as a result of this situation that we're having just now. These conversations, having those with clients, having those with new clients that you've never met before, it's now normal. Not for everyone, absolutely not for everyone, but it is normalized. It's also forced the industry more broadly to examine, right, we are a bit clunky, there's far too much paperwork. A lot of the companies we'll deal with don't use e-signatures and all these. So that's been accelerating. So what we're looking at, can we create first of all, an end-to-end digital process and be able to speak to clients up and down the UK, rather than typically for a firm like ours, and this is the same around the UK, you'll have a regional presence, because everything's done face-to-face. You'll have a few outliers. We think now there's an opportunity to have a national footprint up and down the UK. So we are in the process of doing a kind of brand refresh and looking at designing a social media strategy that will help reach people London, Manchester, etc., as well as our home base in Glasgow.
And what about your clients, Adrian? I mean, when they phone you and speak to you in Zoom calls, what kind of advice are they looking for? Are they giving you kind of horror stories about the situation that they're in that you have to manage? What's the atmosphere like from them?
Generally, they're fine. Generally, we have a big focus in our business on behaviours, client behaviours. We do a lot of education around investment and behaviours and what's actually important. And the fact the stock market's fallen isn't important. That doesn't impact on the plan that we built for our clients, because we built in market crashes. We just didn't know when or why. So what they're actually looking from us, those that we've spoken to, are just looking for a bit, just some reassurance. They just want to chat. I know what you're going to say. Is the quite common? That's the opening gambit? And they go, I know what you're going to say, but I just want to chat it through with you, and that's absolutely fantastic. We are. That's what we're there for. We're being proactive in doing that. We've now got an e-booking system, so clients can book a wee slot with us whenever they feel like it, because of the situation. Just look, if you want to book 15 minutes, half an hour, just for a chat, don't need to wait till your next meeting, just do it, and we're here. There is those who are in different situations. I've spoken to a couple of clients who are in the hospitality sector, which is obviously a complete and utter disaster. That's more difficult. That's really, really difficult. And again, unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do for them in the bigger sense. We can't help them open their business, but we can be there for them and just help remind them of what's important, why you're doing what you're doing. Yes, this is really, really awful, but we will come out of it, because this, that, and the next thing are in place. You just have to sit tight just now. But it's so hard, and the broader. I've got a lot of friends in that particular sector, and I just feel for them. It's really, really tough.
Your dad set the company up over 40 years ago. What does he make of this whole thing now? Because this is new to everybody.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. He thought, he pretty much thought he'd seen it all. Having set up in '77, he's seen every disaster, financial disaster, I suppose, that could happen, and then this. And the great thing about Dad, and one of the benefits of having had him there in the business all this time, is he's very, very pragmatic, and therefore, he's going, right, yeah, okay, it's a bit, but we'll be okay. You just take that step back. And him and my mum are funny. They're quite adaptable, and they like each other's company. So they've just become they've just gone, right, new routine, and we do this and we do that. We do some reading, and they like all that. My dad does yoga, and it's like clockwork. And then they have now, I think they're still doing it at kind of 5 o'clock. They would have an hour where they don't talk about the current situation and listen to, they each pick an album and listen to an old album. So it's just it is about creating routines. So he's okay. I mean, they look on it and go, nobody can believe it. As you say, nobody's ever seen anything like this, and we probably didn't think or imagine at least that something like this would happen. But he's funny. He just adapts to it.
The wealth management side of things sounds as if it's going pretty good just now. You've got another business that you're quite heavily involved in, which is in gymnasiums. I mean, explain about that and how this word that has now come to the fore, pivoting, how you're having to pivot with that business.
Fly was set up by a good friend of mine, Ross Park, 5 years ago now. It's his concept, it's kind of functional fitness. It's not CrossFit, it's very competitive and not accessible for everybody. He wanted to create something that was high quality training but accessible. So he set that up. And over the years, it's done okay. It's ticked over. I got involved 2 years ago. So going great guns. We're looking at opening another gym, slightly different concept in the town, one that would be pay-as-you-go, shorter classes aimed at pre-work, after work, lunchtime, and just bang, bang, bang. And it would be fantastic training, good quality music, good quality venue, obviously. Thankfully, we hadn't actually started doing that yet. So obviously, the gym closed, and you're going, well, that's not ideal. And so what the guys did was they adapted the programs. They allowed, just before lockdown, we allowed people to come in and basically take equipment from the gym, kettlebells, with dumbbells, etc., so that with a view to them being able to do stuff in the house. The guys then adapted the program, and now we're doing classes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, full hour-long functional fitness classes. The guys do via Zoom, which has been brilliant. Actually, it's amazing how well they've managed to adapt it so folk can do it in the house, and they're using bits of furniture and other stuff like that, to try and help so that everybody can do it. And then we've got a couple of kind of shorter body weight classes going on a Tuesday and a Thursday. And we've also got some friends at Cali Yoga. So they are doing some yoga for us as well on a Sunday and a Thursday. So we reduced the membership fee, of course, because we couldn't continue at the level we're at. The gym has got some financial support, thankfully, I think, bounced back. And we got one of the grants, and we're just waiting on that. We'd thought previously about developing an online platform. You've seen the type of thing, real high quality training in an app, and a lot of the big companies do that, do it very well. So we hadn't done that yet because our focus was kind of on opening another gym. That's not going to happen anytime soon. So we're now building that online platform, and a lot of the training will go through that. So we aim to launch that over hopefully in the next couple of months. And that will be available. The interesting thing, again, it's not dissimilar to what we were talking about with my business earlier, is that would be available to anyone in the world. Right? So if you do that well and promote it properly, it could be massive. Not every business, again, can do it, but if you can do it with a gym, if you can pivot, if the gym's closed and you can still make money, that's pretty good. I've heard some quite defeatist talk from people who are saying, look, unless the government does something, now their businesses absolutely, hospitality, there's very little you can do. A lot of them tried the takeaway thing. It barely covers its cost for most people. But there are businesses that are going, I want somebody else to solve this for me. I think there's ways of in your words, pivoting the business, thinking about a better way. If you can make the business work today, just now, think how good it can be when things go back to whatever normal is going to be.
Crucially, you're showing up. So the people who are still involved with you at the moment, you would like to think will remember that and will be even more loyal to you in the future.
Yeah, you're there for them. I mean, that goes across the board. I've heard from some of the people we work with, marketing people and whatnot, saying, some of our clients have just shut. And I'm thinking, why? And they're not speaking to the clients. That's fine. We'll pick it all up on the other side. If you're front and centre, you're right there for your clients. You're putting your head above the parapet. You're making yourself available. You're making yourself visible to the broader market during times like this, and you're doing it the right way. You will benefit coming out of it. There's absolutely no question of that. So rather than sticking your head in the sand and just going, right, well, I'll just ride this out and then we'll pick up at the other side. Those with a kind of growth mindset should be looking to, right, okay, how can we make this work just now, and how can we make ourselves as visible as possible?
So, looking at your crystal ball, finally, what's your kind of what are your thoughts for the future?
I spoke to a CFO of a very, very big company in the medical sector, and they've got 68,000 employees worldwide working at home. So they're going, and we haven't skipped a beat. So they're going, well, why have we got all this real estate? Right? And that's a conversation that's going on worldwide. So we're not going to go back to the way we were. And when we do go back, it will be so gradual that it will be almost, you'll maybe be in the office a day a week or 2 days a week. Clients, for us in our business, I don't know when we would next have a client in the office. I think the government, some of the measures they've taken, the furlough scheme, I talked again, somebody in the hospitality sector today, the furlough scheme has been a godsend, absolute godsend. They talked to all their staff and they were laying off a whole raft of them, and everyone else was taking pay cut and the whole thing, really difficult, really emotional conversations. And then the furlough scheme came out and that saved everybody. So that's been amazing. My problem is from at a macro level, the governments, whether it's G7, G20, whatever it's going to be, are going to have to take a joined up approach to this. We can't just lump, bearing in mind you've got something like 50 billion borrowed by small business so far in CBILS and the other loan schemes. You've then got whatever number of billions in government debt, or in theory, government debt. You can't just go, right, well, that's fine, we're just going to lump that all back in again. We would have a decade of no growth again. So there is going to have to be a different approach to this. We had the Marshall Plan after World War II. This is bigger than that globally. So global government, central banks, the relationship between central banks and governments will have to be closer if we're going to come out of this well. Not to mention Brexit, which we'll not talk about today. So there's challenges ahead for business, but those who are able to adapt and pivot will see opportunities as well.
Adrian Murphy, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for joining me, and Russell Walker.
No, thank you.
Glasgow Chamber of Commerce TV. Thank you so much and best of luck.
Thank you. You too.